I will now take you through the steps of programming a generic SIP phone. First of all, make sure that the WAN port of the phone is plugged into the network that you intend to use the phone on. Next, establishing the IP address of the phone is important, and this is done by pressing **47#. So if you were able to hear that, that's an automated IP addressing system that's within the phone, and it tells us that our address is 192.168.1.130, and so that will come into play when we are doing the VoIP or the voice over IP portion of the programming, which is the part that programs the phone itself specifically. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to enter the Mitel programming system, which we do by going on to 192.168.4.2. Password being uppercase PCH and then 2181. We want system administration tools. Okay, so we would go into system user and devices, and then user and devices configuration. And we would choose add and default user and device. We would choose a name. Smith. And there are two pieces of information, or a few pieces that are very critical. One is the location. So if this particularly would end up falling into the PCH, we would have to go, let's just say it's room 302. Here for the SIP phones, we have to go *302. That's going to be the extension number that it's going to use. And then we further have to choose generic SIP for the phone identification. And then access and authentication, password here being 2194, confirming it with 2194. And then we can click save. At this point, we have very simply identified the location and the person. Now, from this point, we would move to system properties, system feature settings, and system speed calls. And then, based on wanting to make sure we choose numbers that are currently available, it would first be a good idea to just scroll through the list. And as our number bank currently includes numbers 2100 to 2150, I believe, we would want to choose numbers that are available, which there are none here at this point. 3, 4, 5, 6, no. And So our first available number here is 22. So 2122 would be the first one available. So we know we can choose that. So now we would click add. We would go 5 star 8 2122 for the speed call number, and then for the actual number we would again go star 302, which corresponds with the number we had identified as the location in the first set of information. We'd save that. Now, as far as the system programming aspect of this goes, the number is now set to respond to that location. What we do now have to do is log out of this session of the browser, and we have to close right out, and we can just now enter in our, although this was secured, and it's important that this part is secured with the HTTPS, the next portion needs to not be that way. So we would just go HTTP 192.168.1.130. This now being the specific phone we are now in effect logging directly into the phone. This username and password are both admin, all lowercase. Oops, sorry. Paste to put the cursor where you're working. ADMIN. Okay, so now we want to choose VoIP or voice over IP. We want to now give this really has all the information for the most part that we need, other than to give it the specific identification for this phone's location, and that is star 302. Password is pre-entered. I believe the password here again is 2194. The server port is 5060. That's the same for all the phones. And that again is an automatic fill-in, and as well the server address usually normally fills in on its own, but it is again the same address we used for the initial server setup. The other thing that is important here, not so much the details, but that this line is filled out, and Serum 302. All right, now we can simply click apply, and then we will check the return to make sure it was registered. It says it's registered. So we now have successfully enabled that phone. At this point, we would very simply do a call to the phone to verify that the phone will work. A test from the phone is only effective to the point that the phone is connected to a network and will always be able to make calls out, whether it's programmed or not. The true test that needs to be done at this point is calling to the phone to make sure both the system and the phone have recognized the programming that we've done. This concludes the programming for a SIP phone.